From the St. Louis Public Radio newsroom, this is The Gateway. It's Monday, January 27th. I'm Abby Larico. Czech composer Pavel Haas was murdered in a Nazi death camp. Students in Missouri and Illinois will soon learn about the Holocaust through Haas's music.
No matter who we are or where we come from or how old I am or how much I know about the Holocaust, I can listen to a piece of music and I can feel something.
St. Louis Public Radio's Jeremy Goodwin has the story about this musical approach to Holocaust education that's coming up after this news on The Gateway. Over 100 people protested deportations and federal immigration policies this past weekend in Overland. Some Hispanic and Latin American people in the area say they're scared to do everyday things because they fear encountering federal immigration agents. St. Louis Public Radio's Andrea Henderson has one young adult story.
Immigrants are welcome here.
Fatima Suarez was separated from her parents as a teenager by federal immigration agents. Years ago, her parents were trying to migrate from Mexico through the California border. They're now in the country legally. Suarez remembers when her dad was in a detention center in California and her mom in an Arizona one. She thought she would grow up in foster care without them.
When it happened, I didn't know if I was going to see them again. So this happening here is like it's hitting home.
Now she fears that her family might be racially profiled by immigration agents and is trying to protect her little sister.
I remember telling her to also make sure she carries a copy of her birth certificate because now they're saying that they're going to be able to go into schools and stuff.
I'm Andrea Henderson, St. Louis Public Radio.
A man from the St. Louis region who was one of the FBI's most wanted fugitives has been caught. Federal agents announced the arrest Sunday morning. Donald Eugene Fields II was arrested northwest of Orlando, Florida, by the Lady Lake Police Department after a routine traffic stop. Fields had been federally indicted in St. Louis in 2023 on one count of child sex trafficking for attempting to recruit, patronize, and solicit a minor into engaging in a commercial sex act between 2013 and 2017. He also faces charges including rape, child molestation, and witness tampering in Franklin County Circuit Court. Following his arrest, Fields will be scheduled to make his first appearance in federal court in Florida. A federal lawsuit filed by Missouri 4 years ago accusing China of hoarding face masks and other protective equipment goes to trial today. Sam Zeff reports the suit has had a winding road to the trial.
Filed by former Attorney General and now Senator Eric Schmidt, it accuses the government of China of a sinister campaign of malfeasance and deception as it hoarded PPE and lied about the COVID virus. It was dismissed by a judge in 2022, but part of the suit was reinstated by the Court of Appeals last year. In its most recent filing, current AG Andrew Bailey said China's action cost the state almost $500 billion in lost economic activity and up to $15 billion in lost tax revenue. Bailey has pursued the lawsuit despite repeatedly saying masks didn't work to combat COVID. China has not mounted a defense. I'm Sam Zeff.
St. Louis County Prosecutor Melissa Price Smith has dropped an attempt to throw a member of the St. Louis County Council out of office. Price Smith announced Friday that she had reached a settlement with 3rd Ward Republican Dennis Hancock of Fenton to resolve nepotism claims. Her office is dropping the petition to oust him. In exchange, Hancock will pay his own legal bills. The council had previously voted to cover that expense. He also promised he would never again hire a relative. In a statement, Price Smith said continuing the case would have diverted resources from violent crime. She also says she had concerns about the evidence. St. Louis is close to approving economic incentives aimed at helping the prominent Anders accounting firm stay in the region's downtown and double its workforce. St. Louis Public Radio's Eric Schmid reports on a bill before the Board of Aldermen that would reimburse some of the company's payroll, earnings, and net profit taxes.
The legislation would reimburse 85% of those taxes from new hires at Anders. The agreement would last 10 years, and the company would only get reimbursements if it has more than 224 jobs with an annual average wage above $100,000. Craig Campbell is a partner at Anders and says the reimbursement would pay for a few $1 million of renovations at their downtown office space.
We're in the process of continuing to hire new graduates to join our firm. Part of that process entails making sure that the office space is state-of-the-art and is attractive for young people in technical careers.
Campbell says he sees the firm succeeding downtown, but needs additional help as occupancy has dropped in their current building in the Bank of America Plaza. I'm Eric Schmid, St. Louis Public Radio.
Cigarette use appears to be decreasing among teenagers in Missouri, but anti-smoking advocates say there are still too many high schoolers using other non-cigarette products, such as e-cigarettes and pouches. St. Louis Public Radio's Sarah Fenton reports the State Department of Health and Senior Services surveyed hundreds of students between 6th and 12th grade.
In 2022, 3.2% of those surveyed had smoked cigarettes in the last 30 days. In 2024, that number was 2.2%. However, last year, close to 1 in 10 had used e-cigarettes or vapes. That's down slightly from 11% in 2022. Rachel Sanford is Health Promotions Manager for the American Lung Association in Missouri. She says now more teenagers are using Zyn and other nicotine pouches.
The tobacco industry is always kind of like revamping certain products and figuring out how to, continue to make them fun and exciting.
According to the latest data available from the American Lung Association, Missouri ranks 11th in the country for rates of high school smoking. I'm Sarah Fenton, St. Louis Public Radio.
Today is Holocaust Remembrance Day, a time to honor the millions of people murdered by the Nazis. Students in middle school and high school will soon be learning some of that history through music. St. Louis Symphony Orchestra collaborated with the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum to create the curriculum. It centers on a recording by SLSO players of a string quartet composition by Pavel Haas. He was a Jewish Czech composer murdered at the death camp Auschwitz. 3 contributors to the project explain how Haas's music touched them and what they hope the students will take away.
What can music bring to this field of Holocaust education? My name is Sarah Ruddy. I work for the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra as their education programs manager. And what we found was the importance of first-person narratives, because it connects students with individuals, and that helps them make sense of these huge statistics.
My name is Helen Turner, and I'm the Director of Education for the St. Louis Kaplan Feldman Holocaust Museum. No matter who we are, or where we come from, or how old I am, or how much I know about the Holocaust, I can listen to a piece of music and I can feel something.
When he wrote this piece, he was not yet incarcerated, but he clearly was paying attention to what was going on, and he was a Jewish man living in Czechoslovakia. I really believe that the anxiety he was feeling comes through in this music, and I think you can hear how scared he was.
My name is Beth Gooderman Chu. I am playing the viola part in the string quartet. The sadness in the piece comes across almost all the time. Knowing Pavel Haas's outcome from the war and hearing the anxiety in his music, it just puts into context what an entire generation of Jews were feeling.
The first movement of the string quartet has this steady rhythm, and it feels like a heartbeat. And sometimes it speeds up, and sometimes it feels a little more erratic, and it really sounds to me like Haas's heart is going to beat out of his chest.
For our museum, we really want them to come away with, I see hatred still in the world. I see anti-Semitism, I see racism, I see sexism, I see so many divides in our society. What can I do to challenge those divides?
It's among the hardest quartet parts I've played. My dad's parents came to the United States in '38, and all of their siblings and parents died in the war. My grandfather had 11 children in his family. My grandmother had 13. All of their parents All of their uncles and aunts, everybody else died in camps. So I would say that it's been a very valuable way for me to confront my own past.
That was Beth Guterman Chu and Sarah Ruddy from the SLSO and Helen Turner from the Holocaust Museum. St. Louis Public Radio's Jeremy Goodwin produced that story. The Gateway is a production of St. Louis Public Radio, a listener-supported service of the University of Missouri St. Louis. Theme music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. But right now, a few more moments of that string quartet of players from the SLSO. Allison Harney, Nathan Lowry, Beth Guterman Chu, and Elizabeth Chung. I'm Abby Larico, and from the St. Louis Public Radio Newsroom, this has been The Gateway.